Hi, this is Mark from AmericanAeration.com, and in this video I want to do a quick review of the Kasco Robust-Aire RA-5 pond aerator. These subsurface aerators like the RA-5 provide effective and very efficient aeration coverage for large bodies of water. In this video we'll cover some of the key features of the RA-5. Also we'll talk about some of the use cases where, in other words, it will fit certain pond sizes based on their depths, and we'll talk about coverage there. We'll discuss some simple maintenance tips and the considerations you want to keep in mind regarding maintenance of a system like this. And in closing, we'll talk about how you can fit any large pond aerator like the RA-5 to a large body of water using aerial mapping. So some key features of the RA-5. This aerator will cover ponds up to 9 acres in size depending on the depth that you have to work with. Generally, maximum coverage will be found from 12 to 15 feet or greater. It's powered by 2 compressors, a 1/4 horsepower which provides air to 2 diffusers, and the 1/2 horsepower will provide air to the other 3. It offers very quiet operation. There are a couple of ways that Kasco does this. They have a sound dampening liner in the cabinet that you see like in the photograph here. This is the ground cabinet version. Also has a no cabinet option if you have a shed, outbuilding, or structure to protect the pumps. Along with the sound dampening material, Kasco several years ago came out with a air filter intake module, which its purpose was to monitor the air filter condition and provide an indicator when that filter needed to be changed. And that does work very well, but along with that, a side benefit was it reduced the sound output out of these compressors by 34%, which was significant. So with that being done, these systems are some of the quietest on the market today. They also offer long-running, dependable service. We've had very, very few issues with them over the years, and they've been great to work with. This optional steel cabinet does have dual cooling fans, one for each pump mounted in it, so it's providing a very strong cross ventilation to keep these pumps cooler. Rocking piston pumps like those that are used in the RA-5 do heat up. They are meant for continuous duty operation 24/7, but they will get hot in operation, and so these cooling fans are very beneficial. On a reliability index, by our standards at least, it rates 9 out of 10. The Kasco systems have been extremely dependable for us. We've had very few problems with any of the components. I can think of 2 instances where pumps were not running quite the way they should have from coming out of the box, so to speak, and Kasco simply exchanged those pumps for new ones, replaced them to evaluate the other ones, and it was a very simple process for the customer. So they handled the warranty issues exceptionally well, and it's only happened twice that I can think of in a number of years. So very, very good service and very good reliability. Warranty on these systems indicate that it's lifetime on the cabinet and diffusers, 15 years on the weighted air line, and 3 years on the compressors. In terms of the RA-5 specifications, the RA-5 with 5 diffusers will aerate a 4 to 5 acre pond from 5 to 8 feet deep, a 6 to 7 acre pond from 8 to 12 feet deep, and a 9 acre pond 12 to 16 feet deep or greater. As with all these subsurface aerators, the deeper you can place the diffuser, the more pond area it will affect, improving the oxygenation and circulation in the water. This kit includes 2 rocking piston compressors. Again, one is a 1/4 horse and one is a 1/2 horse. Weighted airline is sold separately, as it is on all these large pond and lake systems. Most often the airline will be a very customized need, or the lengths will be very customized by the needs of the shape and depth of the pond, and so it's just better to order separately. I will comment that standard, the weighted airline is 3/8 inch. We use that on any tubing runs from pump to diffuser that is 300 feet or less. Anything over that, we move up to 5/8 inch diameter airline. The RA-5 includes 5 of the Robust-Aire diffusers. These are self-weighted, self-sinking diffusers. All the fitting and clamps are provided. And of course we have the optional cabinet, which is either the ground cabinet or you can go no cabinet if you have an existing structure. Remote operation is also available here with a few different configurations. This includes a dual remote manifolds, and this would be used if you have power that is away from the pond some distance. If you don't want to run power to the pond edge, you can actually put the pumps near the power source and then run buried tubing, or in the case of the Kasco, they prefer 3/4 inch inside diameter PVC, the white Schedule 40 type that you find everywhere. They will put that in ground and provide fittings coming off the pump, and on the opposite end by the pond you'll have a remote manifold that will accept that PVC, and then coming out of that remote manifold you'll have the 2 or 3 weighted air lines depending on which manifold it is, and each airline will have its own dedicated valve to control airflow out of there. But you use the PVC to get the air to the pond edge, and then the manifold takes care of the rest. It's usually more cost effective to do it with the burial PVC than it is to run electrical. We have run distances of 1,000 feet, and in some cases I guess more now that I think about it. So there's a lot of versatility in this type of a situation or setup. Specs on the pumps: we've got a combined 6.2 amp draw on 115 volt. 230 volt is optional by request with no additional charges. 8 CFMs, cubic feet per minute of air output between the two pumps, 40-foot max operational depth, and combined we're looking at an approximate cost per month to run of $35, give or take a few dollars. That's 24/7 monthly operation on a 115 volt circuit. So for Kasco's maintenance on these rocking piston pumps, there's really only 2 points to keep in mind. The air filter intake cartridge is the most common thing you'll be replacing. Again, Kasco provides a module now which will indicate when these filters need to be changed, and much of that frequency will depend on how dirty or clean the environment is around where the pond is located and where the compressors are sitting. But generally we would see 6 months to a year at a time as these need to be exchanged or swapped out for a fresh one. And then on these rocking piston pumps, all the manufacturers in the marketplace do this. They provide rebuild kits which has a few components, seals and gaskets, a few different materials to replace these wearable parts in the compressors themselves. After 3 to 5 years of continuous operation, on average, you'll usually see compression start to drop out of the pump. Now the pump may run, but if you're using multiple diffusers, one of the diffusers may stop producing air while the other looks fine. And that's an indication usually that you're losing some compression out of the pump. Then it's time to turn the pump off and go ahead and take one of these rebuild kits and just replace those components. It normally can be done on site with a few simple tools in about 20 to 30 minutes, and 99% of our customers do that on site themselves. So it's a very straightforward process, but it brings the pump back up to full working order for another period of years. So in closing, I want to talk about how you would want to consider on any large bodies of water. I would say probably 1.5 acres to 2 acres on up in size. It's a very good idea to request aerial mappings from whoever the provider is going to be for you. We do this at AmericanAeration.com at no extra charge or obligation, but we want to lay out a system to not only provide exceptional coverage, we want to show you where the diffusers need to be and how many you'll need to be, but also we want to calculate airline runs. And in the graphic that you see here, there are a couple of points of note. There is a cabinet listed with the yellow box. A remote manifold is near the pond, and then those blue dots are actually the diffusers. The numbers by the blue dots are the airline lengths required to go from the remote manifold to the diffuser. With this information, basically we take an address that we can find on Google Earth, we get a power location, and we get the depths from you as a customer, and then we lay out this setup, and with all this information provided in the mapping, we can work up a very precise quote for a customer right down to the dollar on what it would take to put this system together and get it to the customer. So very good idea because there's no guessing involved. These are all calculated measurements. What we're trying to do is turn a large body of water over from fully from 24 to 36 hours. We want to make sure we're getting ample circulation, turning the entire pond volume over in that time period. So there's some calculation involved, but we make sure that all of these aerators are fit well for the job at hand. So with that, if you have any additional questions on the Kasco RA-5 or pond aeration in general, please visit us at americanaeration.com, and we're happy to help with whatever you may need. Have a great day wherever you are.